What up, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Season, the Battle Rap Podcast, where we talk that shit. As always, I'm your host, Juice, and with me is my good friend and co-host, Vito.
What's up? What's up?
So today, we're going to go over a couple of topics. We're going to talk about what we'd like to say, some shitty opinions lately on Champion, mostly covering some rookie versus vets talk that they've had. We're actually going to simulate a Rookies versus Vets 2 card for you based on the rookies that have been coming up this year and up of recent. We're also going to talk about the actual vets right now and who is what. Fuck, we're not going to talk about that, are we?
Nah, it's okay. We can. We'll talk about it.
All right, fair. We're going to highlight our Lux and Arsenal, which has been recently announced, and we'll be going down on UW. And we're going to have a deep analysis tonight, per request, on Briz versus Ill Will.
We're gonna get deep into that battle. I got some things to say about that fucking battle.
Yeah, I'm just going to start off and say this is going to be the Vito highlight episode because he's done his homework today, and I have to say I was there alongside with him, but he's really going to have the reins on this because we got some shit to talk about Briz versus Ill Will. So now, we've got a couple options. If you want, we could break this down and have it just be a breakdown of that battle. Or if you want, we can kind of go on to our talk of Rookie versus Vets and Rookie versus Vets 2 and our whole thought on that.
I think we should just get it out the way. I don't care if
Let's
it's a
do
long
it.
episode. Let's just do it.
Let's do it. But before we get into that, because I think that's going to be probably our next longest topic, do you want to talk a little bit about Lux and Arsenal being announced? And then we'll go over our next massacre announcement as well.
Yeah, we can do that.
All right. So let me ask you. Obviously, this is supposed to be Arsenal's last battle. He said he's retiring. He's got this indispensable income. First things first, would you have rather seen Arsenal versus Mook? Or are you happy that it's Arsenal versus Lux?
I'm glad it's Arsenal versus Lux just because I know the history they have together. I would have been equally satisfied with with Ars versus Mook though.
Okay, that's fair. Obviously, the most important question: who do you think is going to be taking this battle?
Arsenal.
Really?
Arsenal.
All right. Why? Let's just start there. What makes you think Arsenal's got this battle?
Give me the angle that Lux can give to Arsenal that is anywhere near as effective as the angle he had for Hollow Clips or Calico.
Mm-hmm.
Trick, maybe? Maybe? But that's been done to death so damn much.
That's true. It has been really wildly overused. I don't know. I mean, there could be some hidden stuff behind him, like, the league and Lux being more privy to that. I mean, I don't know. But does he need? I'm a big believer that anytime Lux gets up there, people go nuts. And I'm not one of those people, which is why I feel like I can observe that.
Yeah.
And I just don't know if this is just going to be another, situation where regardless, Lux might, I don't know. And then being on Ars's league, do you think Ars is going to have the obvious, I'm paying you, I'm your boss kind of angle?
Oh, yeah, for sure. He never doesn't have that angle when he battles on his league.
Right. I got to be honest with you. If I'm going to call this, I'm going to agree with you, but it's because I'm someone who has never been big on the Lux hype. So, and this being Arsenal's last battle, and Arsenal hasn't been bad this last year. He did get 30'd by Briz, but I mean, it's a whole different monster right now.
Now, let me say this. This is not because I don't rate Lux. It's not because Lux's pen isn't crazy, and it's not because Lux with the gray hoodie doesn't exist. It's because Arsenal is a bigger battle rapper than Lux. Point blank, period.
Okay.
Ars resides on the same tier as Lux and Mook and them, but he didn't take a day off to get there.
That's fair. That's definitely true. I can agree with you. I mean, I'm not Lux returning for that Mook battle wasn't any good either, and I don't think these guys coming back once in a blue moon. Lux versus Clips was okay. I don't see how. I don't know. There's no way that Lux isn't at least going to get around, I think, just off of Lux being back. But I just think that Arsenal knows what what he's in for, and it's being his last battle, and someone as legendary as Arsenal is not going to go out on a bad note.
Yeah, I think this is a good farewell tour for him.
Yeah, I'm agreeing with you, and I'm going to say 2-1 Arsenal as well.
All right. I'll give Lux the first. His firsts are usually fire.
Ooh, okay. I think I'd have to give Lux the third if I was going to give him anything.
I don't know if he'll have a third you can develop like that for ours, which is my problem.
All right, that's fair. So let's quickly go over the other big announcement that we had come out this week. Gyms versus DNA is the 6th matchup, I believe, announced on Massacre 3.
Yes, it is.
What are your thoughts on that?
I think I don't know enough about Jims to effectively count him out of this battle simply because he got this battle. That said, I know what to expect from DNA, and I know how DNA does on KOTD. And given the battle he just had with A Ward, I'm not inclined to see him losing if he's in that same bag. So I'm going to go 2-1 DNA, but I will note that Jims has a lot of potential. But that's all I have, because I've only ever seen him battle Averb.
That's fair. I'm a little more versed on Gyms. I keep up pretty regularly with his blogs. I did watch the battle with him versus Loso a few times. My take on this battle is actually going to be pretty interesting. I think honestly Jim can pretty handily win this battle simply by being the character or the Gyms that he's been. He's someone who is incredibly funny. He's witty, and he can kind of highlight on somebody's flaws. And there's no doubt that DNA kind of has a slew of them. He's going to get clowned on for the way he looks. He's going to get clowned on for sharing a car with K-Shine. There's so many things that Jims is going to be able to style for him on. And on top of that, I really think that the KOTD crowd is more apt to ride someone who's popular in the culture. Like if Jims goes over to URL and has this battle, if he does well, the crowd's going to care. But no one's going to go in there and be like, "Oh man, I love Jims because he's so funny on these podcasts." Like I don't think the URL crowd is that. I don't know if the word's forgiving. I don't
They're
think
also
they're
not
that
really
concerned.
blog watchers.
Right. I mean, maybe angry fans are like Jay Black or something, but
Jims isn't your typical blogger.
not yet.
Anyway.
I think he's taking that lane over very soon, though.
Yeah.
But I just think that he's going to be able to like really easily clown on DNA, and you can't count DNA out. You can't. I won't even say that DNA is going to get bodied. He's not going to get 3-0'd. I'm sure he can take a round off of Jims, but I just think Jims is really riding a strong wave right now of charisma, and he's also getting better seemingly every battle, which is what you're supposed to be doing, but it works well in his favor right now.
Yeah.
I just think he has way too much charisma, and the things that people love him for are going to be the best things for him to do against DNA. I think it's an awesome matchup. I'm actually kind of excited for it to be on the card. It makes me want to be there even more.
It's a good look for Jims.
It's definitely a good look for Jims. And I think he's going to win. That's my take on it.
All right. I'll take that. Moving on into some of the heavier stuff real quick. Let's talk about these opinions on Champion.
Yes.
Ooh, fucking boy, let's talk about them. Jay Black, shake my hand if you must, good sir. But the people you have rocking with you on your show, you got some clowns on your show, man.
I don't understand it. I feel like Tech 9 is constantly on opposite day. Everything he says just seems like I want to completely disagree. Like I'm on the total opposite end of the opinion with him almost every time.
Let's start with this. He suggested Goods versus Jerry West. What? What?
You could have probably ended that sentence with him just suggesting a Jerry West battle, but for the people out there that do enjoy him, and I can't remember, are you a Jerry West fan?
No, God, no. He is the battler that built a style on the chess bars that are like fourth grader in school. I let the 9 pop.
I think
those bars are Jerry West's style.
I think Prod is the big Jerry. Someone is a pretty big Jerry West fan in the Discord.
Ashamed of themselves.
And I got to be honest with you, I don't get it. I don't see it. I don't think that's a good battle. I don't know what Tech Nine is, whatever he's smoking, like pass some this way because
The last Jerry West battle I saw was against Emerson Kennedy, who was a significantly better battle rapper than he is, and he should have got the push.
I saw. Did you not watch Tech Nine versus Jerry West?
They battled.
Yeah, and it wasn't good.
I'm sure it wasn't. I didn't see it.
Yeah, yeah, that was on one of the Born Legacies, I think. The same one that might have even been the same one that had like money bags and was it BL3? I think it was BL3.
Okay,
Yeah, not a great battle. Not a great battle.
I believe you. And then they suggested Av versus Calico, which that also doesn't make any fucking sense.
No, way too soon. Not stylistically, it doesn't make a lot of sense.
We
I
just
could
saw
see,
that Av can't bark with people that bark, and Suge barked all over him.
yeah, and before that, even O-Red's kind of did. A rusty, whiny O-Red kind of put Av in his place, and then a Suge absolutely did.
So trying to give him Calico? What are you smoking?
Yeah,
What's your dealer's
I don't get
number?
it. The only thing I could think is if Av went on like another maybe year-long run, like a nice meteoric rise that he had prior to this bar stealing controversy, maybe you could argue that. But there's so many people he's got to see before Calico,
Yep.
and there's just
He may never
uh,
see Calico. They just
no.
very different. Av is a puncher.
Cortez has been trying to see Calico for years on URL, and Cortez can't see Calico. Where do you think? Like, no, just no, Tech Nine. I don't understand you. Why are you there?
Yep.
You're not battling, and you're not making sense. I don't
I
understand
don't
it.
get it. And even more so, let's talk about the opinions. They had every vet winning on rookies versus vets, which that's not even just revisionist history. It's just wrong.
Yeah, there's not. I don't know if we could find anyone who's going to say that every single vet won that night when we had the battles that went down. I don't see it. I don't see it.
Like
Let's get into it. Let's talk about it.
top beat clips, end of discussion.
100%.
Briz and Averb, I'll give you that that's debatable. I think Averb
Yeah.
probably won that. I'll give that to
Yeah,
you guys.
as a Briz fan, I can comfortably say that Verb probably won that, and then I would probably add to that that's the last time Briz took
Clearly
a clear
lost.
L.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it is.
Yeah.
Chess and DNA, tell me what you need to tell me about the bars of this battle if you want to talk about it. But don't tell me he lost because he puked on stage, because that's not a part of the fucking battle. Chess cooked
No.
DNA. Chess had one of the bars of the year in this battle.
Yeah. You from the School of Hard Knocks and from the College of Kicking Doors Down is a line that I literally still go back to.
He had a moment in that battle with that bar. Chess won that. I'm sorry.
100% agree with you.
John cooked prep. Everyone knows that.
Mm-hmm. John, it may be one of the actual like PG killers.
Yeah, he's just a killer in general, to be perfectly honest with you. He gets no respect, but I think John's in my top 10 of all time. I'm going to be
Yep.
real.
Okay.
And then this is an unpopular opinion, I think, but I think the Saga beat Suge, personally.
That's fair. I think that battle was debatable enough, which was also kind of the theme of this. If a rookie was able to come out and make a battle debatable, it was kind of a win for them.
Yeah.
So I could agree with that.
Yeah. And then Wavy beat K-Shine. I don't know why we're talking as if K-Shine beat
Definitely.
Wavy. I don't remember when that opinion changed, but I
It
remember
was a
when that
sloppy
battle
K
dropped.
shine, and it was a good wavy.
Yeah. I remember when that battle dropped. That was the only battle that people were clearly saying that a rookie won when that battle dropped.
Yep. Yeah. People seem to have amnesia when it doesn't apply to the fact that they want to have anymore.
Yeah. And then Real Deal obviously cooks Snow.
Yeah. So I mean, you're still looking at a half of the card where the rookies, took the victory.
I don't get it.
Me neither,
Which
man. Me
I
neither.
guess that'll sway us into our next topic really well. Who are the vets now? You know?
Right. I mean, it seems there's been a clear shift of power. We're starting to see all the tiers kind of rise. And what that's done is also seemingly kind of pushed out these older vets, the A-Verbs, Hitman, Calico, don't know if you can include K Shine or DNA in there yet. They're still pretty active.
They're active, but they're definitely in that tier just because of the time period that they come from.
Right. And they honestly aren't even heavily sought out, I feel like, on URL anymore. So who do you have? Who
As the
give me a
current
list of some
vets,
guys here. Yeah,
the people that used to be rookies that made a clear claim for top tier, Chess, Top, Briz, all definitely current
definitely.
vets.
Definitely.
I'd argue that Rum Nitty has become a URL vet at this point.
Yeah, I think we have to say that he is simply because he got to Tay Rock, and Tay Rock is the top of the mountain. Whether you want to argue he won or lost that battle, I still think that he won, to be honest with you. But
Even more so, he's got debatable wins with all the top tier people they put him against, and that's an important distinction.
and he's also one of the most sought out people on URL right now.
Yeah, yeah.
So I would definitely add him in there.
Other vets now. I mean, Suge's still obviously a vet.
Yeah, Suge is definitely one. I would include T Top and Briz.
I did. I mentioned them. Who else do we
Yep.
have in that little list of ours? Big T, I'd consider him a vet just because
Uh, what
he's
about Danny Myers? We have him on this list. I know he's not a
traditional
URL
UR.
only.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, he's clearly a veteran. I think you could even kind of put Cortez in that list within a Danny Myers type situation where,
That's
like,
also true. Cortez is a URL vet.
yeah, they're never going to go on that league and be someone looked at as an inexperienced battle rapper. So,
And then we had what we think is a very controversial pick as a vet, but you have to hear us out because it's important for this next thing we're going to go into. Mike
yes,
P.
it's true.
Now, don't turn the podcast off.
Hang tight with us for a little bit here. I
Listen,
think, given the resume that Mike P has kind of acquired, he's had he brought Daylight over to URL, which I think, whether you like that battle, whether you think Mike P won, just that in itself is a huge look. I mean, Daylight's first URL battle was with Mike P. Um, his breakout performance where he really got noticed, of course, was an L to Av on Christmas Day on that URL proving ground back in, I think, 2016 or 2015, actually. Um, he kind of has the thesaurus disease, where people always come as hard as they possibly can, pause, to battle Mike P. They bring their A game, they come with 3 solid rounds, and a lot of these battles Mike P debatably loses. However, you cannot argue that he's one of the most consistent and creative rappers on URL right now. And you add that in with the resume that he has and the fact that you can guarantee not only a good performance out of him, but that their opponent is going to be prepped ideally, i.e., take away Twerk's choke in the third in his most recent battle. I think it's fair to call him a veteran.
yeah, I agree with that.
And also, let's just add in there, he's arguably the best marketer of a lot of these guys. He's very active on social media. He's very good at the blog game,
He talks
and
shit.
he's intelligent. Yep. Yep. I'm gonna actually be pretty confident after thinking about this that Mike P can be considered like that next tier up status now.
Yeah, I can agree with that. Which let's segue that into our hypothetical matchups for rookies versus vets too. Now,
Yes,
let's
I'm excited for
disclaim.
this.
I am too. Let's disclaim. This card has not been announced. This card is
No,
not in the works as far as we know.
this is a seasoned hypothetical podcast card.
But it is a fire card nonetheless.
Absolutely.
All right. So for our rookies versus vets, we have our main event battle as New Jersey Twerk versus Briz Rothstein.
Yep, facts. I think, just to highlight quickly, this is a clear, good matchup in terms of 2 great performers. I think they both bring a lot of energy to the battle. One thing to note about both of these guys, which is kind of something that never really gets mentioned, but one thing you want in a main card battle isn't necessarily 2 of the most layered, the most bar heavy, the most intricate writers, because that late into an event or that late into anything, you start to wear on the crowd. So bringing people like Twerk and Briz out at the end of a night is going to kind of reignite and re-electrify all these people that might have been kind of dull of the last hour or two. So I think it's a no-brainer to have these two match up against each other. Twerk is probably the clear standout of the rookie class. Um, he's got some huge wins over people like QP. He did most recently choke against Mike P, but he's still got tons of battles that people really fucked with. And he's also the only one, I think, out of this class that has a trademark that people were literally quoting by his second battle.
Yeah. That's good. And then other battles we got on this card. Now, some people might lambast us for this. Like, this might get us a little bit of flack. But Geechee Gotti versus T-Top. Now, I know
Yep.
what the first thing you'll say. Geechee has had one URL battle. It was a proving grounds battle, and he doesn't have much footage behind him. But in the hypothetical scenario we've imagined this card in, he's had another couple of PGs and did really well in them, as well as he did against Stewie. The material from that
Yes,
Stewie battle would have resonated on any URL stage.
that's a fact.
They vibe with the real nigga energy. You can't fake that. They know that. So if Geechee would have spit those rounds on a Born Legacy card, he would have probably bodied whoever they put him against.
Mm-hmm.
Now, all that said, I think Geechee makes the most sense as a matchup for T-Top. It'd be a great look for him. It'd be a stylistically somewhat similar matchup. They're both good rappers, both hood, both hard. It's all
Yep.
in there. That segues into this next one. Jackboy Maine versus Danny Myers. Talk
Ooh,
about it.
this is probably my favorite battle on the card. I'm a huge proponent of Jackboy Maine. I think if you haven't seen or heard the heard about and heard bow in the back of his mouth, it's been repeated in my head for about 6 months now.
It's so
Uh,
hard.
for anyone who wasn't at BL5, you've yet to see his 2-on-2 performance. But I think between that battle and his most recent with Fettuccine, people are really going to start to see where the hype is coming around him. He's got an explosive personality. He literally almost has like this gleaming look of crazy in his eyes while he battles that just adds a ton of believability to everything he says.
Yep.
He weaves in some really, really insightful, like witty bars out of nowhere and still has a ton of aggression and performance.
Which against
And
someone like Danny Myers of all
oh,
people.
it's going to be fantastic. That's exactly what I was going to say. I think this stylistically matches up great. We were kind of torn between giving Jackboy Briz because of the heavy performance on both of them, but I don't think Jackboy's quite gotten enough looks yet to where he deserves that.
Yeah.
And I think Twerk is the clear front runner in that case. But this is very close to being just as good of a battle and just a high energy.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. And URL fans love Danny Myers. Don't ever forget that they had to edit out crowd reaction to make it look like he didn't kill T-Rex as bad as he did. I won't let
That's
the world
true.
forget.
That's true. They were a little harsher on him, I think, in his Steams battle. But one thing that I think everyone understands and appreciates with Danny Myers, I don't know if there's another battle rapper in the game who is more dedicated to the craft, or at least who enjoys the craft. I mean, I see Danny Myers on YouTube comments for pretty much every battle that drops.
He
I
loves
mean,
battle
he is
rap, man.
inundated in the culture.
Loves battle rap.
Yep.
Okay. And then the next matchup we have is Snake Eyes versus Shotgun Suge. Now, I'll admit I'm not very well versed in Snake Eyes. This was more of Juice's suggestion, but I fuck with it, and you can tell him why.
Sure, yeah. I think from seemingly, let me start with Snake Eyes' most recent battle. Apparently, from what we've heard, if you follow Angry Fans at all and followed any of the Ascension recaps, Snake Eyes went off against Tone Montana. Tone Montana choked, which always deters from it. But Snake Eyes is a very aggressive, high energy, in your face, like he kind of teeters that line of like, is a fight gonna break out almost in his battles. And his 2-on-2 that they had, Snake Eyes and Dougie versus Jackboy and Ryder, was a great battle. DMV took that, but it was a good showing, especially for Snake Eyes. And I just think him versus Suge would be a really stylistically a good battle, something that we could see in the future for sure.
All right. I can't weigh in, but I'll say that Suge versus Snake Eyes should be good based on aggression alone, if anything else. If you put an aggressive battler against Suge, you're gonna get a good battle.
Yeah, and I think we've both agreed when we were talking about it that Suge is one of those guys that's got to be kind of a staple for a battle like this. Like you have to see Suge if you think you want to climb the ranks in URL.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. All right, and the next battle we had on this card is Chef Trez versus Rum Nitty. This is a sleeper for me.
Block on block crime is almost always the best, even
Is
if these
Rum Nitty
guys
in the
aren't
block?
block anymore. He was at one point. I don't even know if the block itself is still intact, but it's more the caliber of those two guys at one point were definitely of that stature.
This would basically be Nitty versus. I mean, this will basically be Trez versus JC revisited.
Yep, yep. Nitty's, probably one of my all-time favorites. Trez the same, and I think the only flack that we may catch from people on this is just the fact that people may actually say that Trez isn't a rookie. But to be fair, he's only had two URL battles. He's had the PG with Ryda and then the battle with JC. So I think he's still kind of being classified as a rookie.
Yeah, I'd agree. And I guess that makes sense. Speaking of Ryda, he's the last rookie we have on this card, and we have him against Mike P.
Yeah, now talk to me a little bit about this one. I think this was the one that we had the hardest time placing. I mean, we had a hard time placing that last spot for a rookie in general. But what is it about this battle to you think that kind of helped us decide it?
I'm going to go on a couple different things here. First of all, we have 6 battles on this card. The original Rookies versus Vets had 7. We had one more rookie and we couldn't find an opponent for them. We cut them out. Now, as for why we put together Ryda and Mike P, there weren't many other people we considered vets that weren't too high of a status for someone like Ryda and too far outside of his style to be a threat to him. We couldn't give him to someone like Big T. Like that was
Right.
the second choice we had for Ryda, but it almost felt like that would have been a complete waste. And not every battle on a card is good, but we don't know. Ryda and Big T don't particularly match up well, in my opinion. He doesn't match up well with who else do we have left? Chess. Chess will bark
Yep.
on Ryda.
Yeah, and it's sad because I did want to try to find some lane for Chess on this card, but I mean, realistically, looking at these rookies, I don't see anyone who's really going to be able to stand with Chess.
Jack Boy could have worked for Chess, but I feel like that's too big of a look for Jack Boy right now.
It definitely is.
And as far as the other people we had left, who else did we have that we hadn't used? Like
Well,
Cortez?
No, I mean, we had our pigeonholed battle. We had Joe. We had Real Deal. Um, we hadn't mentioned Cortez, but I mean, Cortez is definitely someone that we could have. Well, he's too high to be thrown in as a vet, I think.
And he'll kill Ryda.
Yeah, I mean, from what we just heard against Prez, he literally had just an absurd showing against Prez and just showed a huge gap in skill.
Exactly.
So,
and Prez is better than Ryda.
Yeah,
at least
I would say,
performance-wise, which matters.
or I would say at least in experience and just overall being able to see somebody like that, I would have picked Prez over Ryda. So I agree.
So it's just harder to find opponents for him. Mike P feels like the right person for Ryda because Mike P pulls the best out of his opponents. If we get the best Ryda we've ever seen out of this battle and a standard Mike P, that would be great.
And honestly, that's kind of what we need right now. Ryda's been pretty quiet. He had a little bit of smack talk going on Angry Fans for a little bit, where he basically said Cortez and all these other guys were ducking him, and none of those guys could see him. But I mean, I like Ryda. In his 2-on-2 with Jack Boy, he had some crazy lines. Him and Chef Trez was an amazing PG last year. But like you said, before Ryda can really kind of step up to that plate, I think he needs to have one more battle where he really showcases what his lane is. And Mike P having that wonderful thesaurus disease where he draws the best out of everyone, I think that's the ideal matchup.
Yeah, I agree.
Honestly,
okay.
I think our card is pretty damn good.
Yeah, I'd go to this card. I'd pay for tickets to this.
Definitely.
That's all we got for now. I'm pretty sure we've hit all the topics we needed to hit, and this is hitting a long one, so I might split this between two episodes.
Facts.
Or we have our
It's
first
been a busy
two-parter.
week.
Yeah, it's been a busy week for Battle Rap, but it's good. We got a lot to talk about. So, yeah, this has been Season the Podcast. This is your boy Vito and Juice signing off.
See
We'll
you
see y'all
later,
later.
boys.
Stay seasoned.